Hey students, here we go with day 19. Got a special planned workout for everybody. Part A and Part B. Gonna do some experimenting. We're experimenting today. We are gonna do a Part A that is 1 minute on, 30-second off. And it's composed of 4 different holds. So we're gonna hold for a minute, or as best you can. Then we're gonna take a break for 30 seconds. Then we're gonna go on to the next hold. And we're gonna repeat these 4 holds 3 times each. So the holds, as you can see below, are first our plank. So we start out with our plank hold. It can be done in any version of the plank hold. You should know what that is. Then we're going to go to a hollow hold. Now, hollow hold in our second minute starts laying on the ground, and our goal is to lift up our shoulders and legs. Shoulders and legs. Now, this is real difficult. If you struggle with it, we can go through the following progression. Start with your knees over your hips. Pull your shoulders off the ground. Pull your belly button to the floor so you feel your lower back on the ground. If this is hard enough, then this is our hold. Now, if we can do this easily, we set the arms out to the side, and then we lower one leg, keeping the lower back on the ground, and then we lower the other leg, keeping the lower back on the ground. This will be pretty hard. The harder version will be this, arms over the head. So those are 4 different versions. Practice before class, find the one that's right for you. Now, say you can't move your legs at all, no big deal. We're just going to squeeze our lower back to the ground and lift up our shoulders and hold here, or just lift up our legs and pull our lower back to the ground and leave our shoulders on the ground. So find the most difficult version that you can maintain for close to a minute. That is our hollow hold. We'll be fully tensed and like a little banana. Next, minute 3, we're gonna do a glute bridge. Glute bridge, we've tested our planking ability. We're now gonna test our inverted planking ability. Feet are gonna go on the ground. We're gonna press our hips to the sky. Butt is squeezed. Now, if you're working on your glute bridges still, this is a good exercise to try to hold for a minute. You're welcome to have something between your knees as well. Deanna, that's fine. Now, if this is not that hard, the next move is gonna be to go to an inverted plank. So I'd like to see you guys here, hips high, abs on, butt squeezed. That will be the goal for our 3rd minute if we can do it. And I think everybody should be able to do one of those versions. Then finally, minute 4, we have our arch hold. This is gonna be the opposite of minute 2, the hollow hold. We're gonna lay on our stomach this time. And butt's gonna be squeezed into the ground, legs come off the ground, hands come up overhead. This is the goal. We can also do it with our hands down by the side. So my legs are in the air, my shoulders are off the ground, everything is clenched, my butt's clenched, and I'm pushed into the ground. Now, if you can't hit that position because of some problem, we can just leave our legs on the ground and just do our torso, or the opposite, leave our torso on the ground and just try to lift a leg, 1 leg, 2 legs. So find the most difficult version for you, give it a try before class, come ready with your hold. Now that should cover everybody. Ed, Alan, Chris, Tony should all be fine with that. Diane should be fine with that as well. Jerry, Lana, Rachel, Tristan, love to see you on the floor. Love to see you try each one of these. Remember, I think you're probably thinking, how can I do a plank? Remember, our plank, if one of our arms isn't working, is gonna be quadruped on the elbow. This is totally fine. Even if you sit back down on the hip, just get to as close to a tabletop on your elbow as possible. I'd love to see that left elbow hit the ground too, if it's possible. So there are all our positions for our first one. I'm interested to see if you guys got what it takes to do a full minute of those. But of course, if you can't hit a full minute, no worries, take a break when you need to. All right, second part is going to be revisiting some of the movements we practiced this morning, today. Our part B is a 50, 40, 30, 20, 10. That is the scheme, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10. And we have two movements that we're doing those for. The first is going to be, again, a plank movement. So we go black to our plank. This is our plank shoulder tap. Now, if you cannot do a plank, any plank, for 50 seconds, then just do a plank for 50 seconds. But if that's possible for you, we're going to do a shoulder tap 50 times. Every touch is a 1. You can do this on your knees too if you'd like. This works as well. Or quadruped, that works as well. So you can do the plank tap or you can just hold a 50-second plank. Either one. I think that should work for everybody as well. After that, we're going to do some wide mountain climbers. We did some this morning. I think it went really well. This is what I care about. Leg comes forward, foot flat in the ground, foot pointed forwards, leg goes back. Leg goes forward, foot flat in the ground, foot forward. Now, to make sure we're honest and we're getting our foot in a stable position, this is what I'm going to ask you to do if you feel like you can. Once you get your foot forward in this position, I want to do a hand release. Pick your hands up, hold for a second, balance, show me this leg is somewhere useful. Not kind of out to the side, because then we cannot lift our hands up. Or right here, because again, we can't lift our hands up. So hold it all the way here, then lift the hands up. Now, this can also be done with the knee down. Roma, for example, if we're working on finding our mountain climber lunge position, going from this position to here. We have a scale for mountain climbers, going to a kneel position, lifting up our hands here, trying to find balance, and then going back down. Moving the legs back here, lifting the hands up, and trying to find balance. So I think that should work for everybody. For Deanna, I think what we can do here is, let's see, I think what would be interesting is, let me think about that, because I don't want you moving in and out of lunge if it's going to be bothering your hip. Take a rain check. I need to think about for you what we're going to work on. We might just work on something else. Okay, but for everybody else, I think that should work just about fine. So we do 50 plank taps or second planks, 50 wide mountain climber lunges. Actually, Deanna, I'm going to take it back. We're just going to get in our lunge position like this and try to hold for 50 seconds. Just right here, hold on to something and get in a lunge position, nice and tall, or a tall kneel. That's what we're doing. After you get the plank and shoulder taps done and the wide mountain climbers, we're then going to do 10 to 20 seated presses. Those seated presses will look like this, sitting on the ground, everybody on the ground. These are my pretend weights because all my weights are downstairs. I was working out on the deck. You're going to press straight up overhead. Straight up overhead. If you have a backpack, that's fine too. Now I picked 10 to 20. I want you to take your weight and I want you to get close to failure in pressing. Now if that's around 10, then that is your rep. If it takes you 15 reps to get close to failure, meaning you keep pushing up until it gets difficult and you can't do it anymore, then 15 is your rep. If it takes 20, then it's 20. If it takes more than 20 reps, try to find a heavier weight. I think we need some heavier weight. Okay, guys, those are our two workouts. After you do the set of 50, 50, the seated press is always 10 to 20 every round. Then we go 40, 40, then 10 to 20 every round. And then 30, 20, 10. Okay, so that is the workout. Practice all the plank movements in the hold beforehand. Come to class ready with your scale. And then finally, practice the plank to shoulder taps. Find the hard version for you. And then finally, the hard version of the wide mountain climbers, and then your weight for the seated press. Everybody come ready. We'll hit the ground running. We'll have a lot of fun, like usual. Guys, I will see you at, what is this? Friday, because I'm off tomorrow. See you then.